Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folaring. Hope you're gearing, is it gearing up or gearing down for the weekend? But with the situation in Lagos, southwest of the country where we're broadcasting from, the traffic situation has been terrible. So I don't know where you are at. As Americans would say, forgive that slip into Americanism with it, depending on where you're at. So depending on where you are, it might be tough if you're going out to Ijebu, if you're going out to Abeokuta. Well, in short, if you're using the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway for whatever particular reason, nothing but stories of woes. But we're not talking traffic this morning. There's the headline all over the place that the president, he's been turning his attention to a number of situations in our country, and we've been talking about that. He's asked for the Niger Delta, NDDC to be probed. He's asked for us to look at the whole matter of constituency allowance. And now the other one that's always been with us, which is kidnapping and banditry. And there are many aspects of that. But now the president has said, you know what, zero tolerance. He's actually given the word to the police, marching orders, as some would put it. He's given the word that there should be no tolerance, in fact, zero tolerance. He used the word ruthless. Okay. In other words, that's how I interpret that to mean zero tolerance. We've never been tolerant of them, and they've always been running rings about us. What is going to change this time? That's what I thought I'd sort of try and investigate with people who probably know a bit more about this whole matter than myself. And I got two communicators here. Dr. Fasi Yusuf is a lawyer and communications expert. Thank you very much, Fasi, for coming on the program.
My pleasure, Yori.
As always. And Mr. Dapo Akinyoshun, who is also a lawyer and a social commentator. Mr. Akinyoshun, thank you very much for coming on as well.
Good morning.
Indeed. Let me start with you. I ended my introduction, so let me kick off from there. Banditry, kidnapping, yeah, that's not the kind of thing that you expect people to be dragging out in a court of law, as lawyers are wont to do from time to time. Every man has his rights, and every man is entitled to a defense. That is the aspect of it which I probably understand. Yeah, the law says that. And for orderly society, that's how it has to be. Are you concerned when the president talks about ruthlessness? People who are not known to be, dainty people in any case, they're supposed to be taking a dim view of all illegalities. When he now says to them, you know what, we need to be ruthless, and I'm therefore asking you to be as ruthless as you need to be to get the job done. Is that okay from a lawyer's point of view, perhaps?
As a lawyer, we always say it is better for one guilty person, for 99 guilty people to be freed than one innocent person to be wrongfully jailed.
And it sounds good, because one might be that one.
That is what the position of the law is. However, when you look at this issue of growing banditry and kidnappings, there's no sector that is not affected. And we need to come together and deal with it head on and very seriously. Judges cannot go about their work again now. Judges are being kidnapped every day. Lawyers are being kidnapped everywhere. So it's an ill wind that doesn't blow anybody any good. It is long overdue that the situation should be dealt with as hard as possible. There are arguments against whether you deal, death sentence has long been on the table. It has not prevented armed robbery. However, people will still be given a chance to have their say. But I think it is overdue.
Okay.
That something drastic needs to be done. We've treated it with kids' gloves. We've treated it as a malaise that will go away. But with the president giving this order now, sometimes some rights of people will be infringed, and that is the truth. But if you don't deal with it head on, it is sometimes difficult to find, because you find that there's no crime that exists without active support or collaboration of the people who are supposed to prevent it. Look at the kidnapper in the north that was taken into an army barracks for protection from the police. and several policemen lives were lost in that process. So you find that until some difficult action, sometimes very hard, is taken, you will not get to the root of it. Now, how does that run vis-a-vis the law? Everyone that is caught, there should be some form of speedy trial. The president recently said as well that they're going to set up special courts to deal with financial crimes and things. If that is done, it will free up the regular courts to deal with these issues quicker. Okay. But we need to have a quicker adjudication of these matters so that people will know you are guilty, there's a consequence for your bad behavior. But until there's a firm consequence for bad behavior, you find that it's growing. There are many graduates who are employable, who are unemployed, who think these things through and execute it. It's now becoming a fashion that I'd rather take a chance on committing a crime and make quick money rather than use that brain to sit down and figure out what can I do to improve society. Truth is that there's a lot of yawning opportunities in Nigeria too. There are more expatriates coming into Nigeria to do what? I mean, if you look around in Lagos, there are more Chinese people, there are more Indians. What are they doing that we cannot do? It's not because we lack the capacity to do those things, but we're not applying ourselves to those areas.
Okay.
We were speaking earlier before in the studio where we said even making a cap, the art of making a cap is fast dying out here.
The embroidery.
The embroidery thing, because the younger people are not willing to learn it. You need to tile a floor of a house. We're going to bring people from Cotonou because they are the ones who will do straight lines when they do it. Our own people are not doing it. Have you built a house in recent times? There are no plumbers again. Almost every house has a leakage. The plumbing work is dead. So the question is that we have so many people who are unemployed. They keep complaining there's nothing to do, but there are so many things that are begging to be done.
How does this factor back into, for example, armed robbery and criminality generally?
So it is these guys who are brilliant, who are smart, who are looking for quick ways to make money that are now going to these crimes. Rather than going to learn a trade. I mean, if you start weaving caps, the man is employed. He may not earn enough money to buy a Benz today, but he will start paying his own fees gradually. But because we find many people now just want quick fix, they want to make money quickly, they want to become Yahoo. I mean, look at the kind of affluence that is displayed on social media by young boys who have nothing doing, no visible life of income.
Referred to as Yahoo boys.
Yes,
you know,
and
the internet
other
fraudsters.
people want to be like them. Okay. They don't want to wait to learn plumbing or wait to learn how to make a tile before they make money.
So there's a sense of, in fact, what that was just sort of presented in there, to me, it seems as if it's connected back to our socials, you know, our sociology.
Well, the country is going through a very critical phase, and that, like Keshina Achebe said, things are falling apart, and it appears the center is not holding, to the extent that the social values have been eroded. The peer influence is becoming more and more negative. The society itself does not even encourage probity, transparency, accountability. Neither does the society encourage those people that are willing to serve this country with all their strength, with all their might, and with all their ability and capacity, and even capability. The system does not reward hard work. And therefore, with the quota system, with the type of country we operate or we live in, with the type of society that says, look, if you don't belong to XY, you cannot be a member of ABC. And where you see those who ordinarily will not stand where you should be, or perhaps intellectually, or perhaps in terms of strength, and you see them now thriving, and you are not in any way near them. Of course, like my colleague said, you know, an idle brain, or brain is the devil's workshop. So you see all manners of things happening in the country, and even those that are supposed to protect us, like my colleague said, are part of the problems of this country. And our leaders too, they've not been able to devise a means of managing this country properly. And where there's a problem with leadership, you can only expect that followership will take a cue. And that is why this country is more or less in a state of anomy.
You know, again, following from what you've just said, the president has also said in talking about this, say, look, guys, no more kidnappers, banditry. He said,
Was there supposed to be banditry before?
Exactly, but now he's talking about a zero tolerance. He's saying you have the orders, you've got to be as ruthless as possible. And he pointed out that, look, these people are situated among us.
I'm not interested in all these cliches. What I'm interested in...
Even this big one is a cliche.
I want a society that I will be happy to live in. I can sleep with my 2 eyes closed.
Yes.
A society that will reward hard work. A society that will punish infractions. And those people running foul of the law. It's not happening in this country now. Because if you look at what is happening, like I was seeing some drama on the screen. I've been seeing that drama in the last 1 week or 2 weeks. You have an accused. The stand trial becomes a problem. But once it's out of a correctional facility, it regrets his health.
Yeah.
And to some extent, we, law officers, are also part of the problems. But by and large, the whole country, the whole security architecture, the justice administration system, the social values of the society, everything will need to be appraised, and our leaders will need to guide us and lead us to the right path.
Dr. When Fassi started off, he alluded to the Achebe expression. No, it's not even his, but it's his in the sense that when you read it, you see that it got. I'm talking about, things fall apart and the center can no longer hold. Maybe we've come to that point, and if this is a reaction to that, is it like, when they say, come, let's reason together, we've been doing that for decades, talking. Fassi says he's tired of all the cliches, and that's because he's heard it too often. Let's reason together, let's think about this. If we don't kill corruption, it's going to kill us. Now, does this signify, I'm wondering, a taking off of the gloves? But look, we're done talking, we're done reasoning. We're going to have to cut right through the middle, because you also said that there are instances which, unfortunately, rights might be infringed upon, but do we need to send out a signal? Is that what the president seems to have now grabbed, now realized that talking and all this rule of law, although he never went to those areas, all the processes that we normally have to tick the boxes of, if we wait to do all of that, we're still going to be in this stranglehold. Could this, therefore, I want your opinion on that, represent a searing right through the middle, at whatever the cost?
Well, I think what it does is a call to arms for everybody involved. And whether coincidentally or about the same time, I saw a video clip yesterday of Senator ABIA on the floor of the Senate raising the issue that there is a need to amend the Constitution. And he used the issue of the police as an example he gave in the Senate chambers when he was talking.
That was the last session of, it's not a member of the Senate now.
Okay, but I mean, yeah. I said that coincidentally, I just saw it yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But,
so that's
it's a passport.
Yes, but whether it was passed or not,
but it was on the floor of the Senate.
It's on the floor of the Senate, and it was a relevant situation that we need to amend some parts of the Constitution, because even the president has said that this current administration has shown a willingness to deal with the issue of state policing, and until we get a police that can effectively check crime, what you have now is that the police is handicapped in several ways. First of all, they're insufficient in numbers vis-a-vis the populace they're policing. They're grossly small. Secondly, they are insufficiently equipped to deal with the situation. And we go to other countries and we see each policeman has a squad car, their mobility is assured, and things like that. They're insufficiently motivated in terms of what they are being paid. It's still a far cry from what a decent policeman needs to earn to want to die on his job. Because these people are trained to die if necessary in curbing crimes. And there's so many of them that are dying every day, quietly, or attacked by robbers or criminals just because they're in uniform for no reason at all other than that. So what I think the president is doing now is a call on all arms that we need to work together. If we need to amend the constitution to let this work, so be it. If the judiciary needs to work faster and ensure that these cases are given speedy hearing so that it can be done, so be it. But whatever needs to be done, we should all have zero tolerance for this. And I think it's a call on all arms that we all need to arise and make sure that it is not from our own side that we'll drop the plate, that drop the ball. But we all have to make sure that this thing is dealt with and speedily, because we don't know who's going to be there tomorrow.
Okay. And maybe I could add to what I was saying when he was talking about the problems of police. From the last election, the last Kogi election, we hear that the police also have, they can also be frustrated by fake policemen in politicians' sewn and donated uniforms. The story was told about how a higher police officer was saying that the police was hampered by men in uniform, although they were fake. So how do you contend with fake policemen? You see how you come to the problem.
I must tell you that the senior police officer that said that should have resigned. Should have resigned. Like those days we were told that armed robbers not be spiritual. Now they live among us and with us. The police officers posted on that, for that duty, they know themselves. So if you are not telling us that, the fact that you were able to identify a fake, or they were fake policemen, means that you must have information about them. That is simple logic. To me, I've been opportunity to be in the force myself. To me, you're begging the question. You have not addressed the issue. Why must you deploy 30-something thousand policemen to a state, and yet you could not get anything done? And nearly everybody was not happy with your operation. And again, for us to even know that, look, a house divided among itself or within itself can never succeed. Look at the issue with the Police Service Commission and the Nigerian Police. Should that be? The head of the Police Service Commission is a retired Inspector General of Police who retired about 20 years ago. Why should the Police Service Commission have a problem with the Office of the Inspector General of Police? You see, in this country, we engage in muscle flexing, and we want the society to know that here we are today, we are in charge. At the end of the day, the society suffers. Everybody. Look at the way a police inspector was murdered. And look at the way a justice of the Court of Appeal was taken away for over 2 weeks. What signal would that be sending to other justices? Not talk of other judges, but talk of a justice now, not a judge. And for you now to know that even a former chief of defense staff was murdered in this country. In this country, too, a minister of justice was murdered. And many unresolved cases like that. To me, it simply says that, look, the security architecture of this country is nothing to write home about. It has broken down. If you cannot fix it, then we have no business staying in this country.
So how can we make this latest statement or this latest...
You must match words with action.
There you go. So what is this action? Is it...
To me, for example, to me, if I were to be if I were to be the president or to be his advisor, it should relieve all the service chiefs of the appointments. They've overstayed. They are stifling the growth of others. And there should be fresh ideas, fresh innovations, fresh perspectives. They've stayed there for too long.
Okay.
And they're supposed to retire after 35 years of service. They've been there for over 35 years. For example, if you look at the army now, if you look at the army now, you have more than 150 major generals, which has never been. Top heavy. Look at the police. During our own time, we had less than 20 commissioners of police in Nigeria. Now you have more than 200 commissioners of police.
And all of this is not enhancing efficiency.
It's not translated to any performance.
Dapo, what do you think about this particular line of thought? That look, maybe the security architecture the originating question was, what do we now do, or what can they do to make this different from what we've been hearing over the decades? The center certainly doesn't hold anymore by some of the examples that you have cited, but how can this now be given teeth for the robbers to know that, well, it's not a joke this time, and the kidnappers?
I would look at it from the angle of, if we retire all the top policemen, we've spent so much money training all these guys.
So there's a hefty investment.
There's a hefty investment that has been made in them. And the question is, if we retire them, to do what? Many of them are getting old, however, they're still agile and employable. How can we redirect their energies in the best interest of the nation? And it will boil down to still back to how much money can be made available. Because a man who is retired, who's still struggling to collect his pension, which sometimes doesn't come in their lifetime, you now find them turning to other things, using all the experience they have to work against the system that trained them. So we have to be, whilst I think when a man reaches retirement age, he should make room for others, we should also realize that in this system where once you leave the office, you don't have a decent, means of livelihood again, it now becomes a problem.
Okay, I know you want to come in on that, but I also have John in FESTAC waiting to join the conversation. Good morning, Mr. John. Are you there in FESTAC? Good morning.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay, that's good. Good morning, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. All right. I will have to be blunt. I think that the statement by the president is quite irresponsible. You know, in terms of it appears to give the military leaders authority to commit crimes. I know, for me, it brings to picture the history of Nigeria. You know, we've not been able to free from these ex-military leaders, and the country is being run as a military state. And democracy doesn't thrive in such an environment. There are key elements for democracy to be successful: the rule of law, you know, and other elements. And the current state of the country shows that we are heading in the wrong direction. You know, I'm quite bothered.
Sorry, John. Are you talking about the presidential directive or statement that, you know, zero tolerance, you know, you be as, you know, ruthless as you need to be? Is that what you're commenting on?
Yes, that is what I'm commenting on.
Okay. Okay.
That is exactly what I'm commenting on.
You think it's military and we're in a democracy?
We're in a democracy.
Okay.
You can't pick elements in democracy and say these are the ones you want to adopt to.
But do we have a serious? Do you concede that we have a serious problem with kidnapping and banditry?
I totally agree with you, but these problems are intertwined.
Okay, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
The poverty in the nation, the hopelessness, the lack of jobs, the society in itself. It's all linked together.
So your problem is not that we want to do something about it. Your problem is the law.
My problem is the approach.
The approach, that it sounds like a military government.
Yes, it's not holistic.
Okay, it's not holistic. And then just coming out like this and making this statement, I get what you're saying.
What do you think the military man would do when, you know, everyone has a right to be presented before a judge?
Okay, all right.
Irresponsible in my own view.
Okay, but don't forget that judges are also kidnapped. You know, it's quite frankly, as Fasi remembered, the center does not hold anymore. But thank you very much, nevertheless, Mr. John, for coming in. So this is where we.
I was saying, while supporting my colleague, the point to be made is this: all the top military brass, police brass, look, they end their salary for life.
Yes.
They are not affected by the ordinary problems of payment of gratuity, pension, and all the rest. It is still part of the system that has not allowed the transfer to the arrangement on ground. that, look, you pay 8% of your salary, and your employer pays 12%, and at the end of the day, you're able to access your funds when you retire. You discover that in most ministries, departments, and agencies, they tamper with these funds.
We often hear of those.
Yeah, like the minor gate we have witnessed in the past. Still happening, and therefore, those people who retired at a level not at the topmost hierarchy, they find it difficult to access their funds. But those that are there, for example, when we have about 200 commissioners of police, 200 major generals, vice marshal, rear admirals, and all the rest, what would they do? Top heavy, not doing any job commensurate with their rank and with their training.
Okay.
And you have somebody who has been there for over 4 years, you ought to have retired, yet is still being kept there. I mean, this shouldn't be.
Okay, one moment, please.
There are too many people that are qualified in this country not having anything to do.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Kunle in Kaduna. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I am listening to what is on the TV now.
Yes.
Yeah, my greetings to the two gentlemen on the floor of the house.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. What I see concerning the recent happenings in this nation is just that they have a responsibility at every level. If the police are doing what they need to do, we don't need Mr. President to be giving marching orders that go and do this. If they are doing what they are doing and they are efficient in their work. But what we have seen is that when people do something, there is no punitive measure. Because if there is punitive measure, IG will not be telling the whole world that fake police overpower genuine police. When you have deployed almost over 30,000 police to go and do an assignment. By now, in a normal environment, if the man fails to resign, I expect our president to tell him to resign without any notice.
Okay.
But people can say anything because it's like we have a president who is docile, or maybe because of sentiment, and that is the problem we have when we don't appoint people based on professionalism. You appoint people because you know them or because somebody recommend them to you.
Okay.
So they are not loyal to Nigeria, but they are loyal to their office. And we are not going to move forward as far as I'm concerned. We are going nowhere until we begin to do the normal thing. Buhari is not our problem from the past. But I think what he's doing now is contributing to the problem of the future. Because people do what they want to do and they get away with it. Look at election in Kogi, look at election in River State. We are here talking about marching order to bandits. There are bandits already. People that did that election that used guns, they are future criminals.
Okay. All right, then. Thank you very much for calling in. In relation to this, I'm going to go off on a break, but I wanted to make this point. In relation to this whole matter about the police being overpowered, I don't think the Inspector General of Police ever said that. The much that he did say was that they were fake policemen, that they had intelligence, that politicians were going to sew uniforms for them, that they knew all about this. But I think it was when the PDP spokesperson, National Publicity Secretary, was commenting on the issue, is when he phrased it that, look, for us to now be told that the police have been overpowered by fake policemen, so you can see the similarity. But you got to understand, I don't believe that the Inspector General actually ever said that my policemen were overpowered by fake policemen. But it's just a small point. We'll pick up some of the issues that you raised, but we've got to go off on a break now. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, please. Okay, welcome back. Still here with Dr. Fasi Yusuf and Mr. Dapo Akinyoshun. We're looking at how we came to this pass, where, as one of the callers put it, the police is now being told to be ruthless in the execution of their duty as it relates to check-making bandits and kidnappers. So he's asking, how did we come to that stage where you need the president to say that? What is the very, very definition of a policeman being in place? Would a policeman ordinarily be handling robbers and kidnappers with kid gloves? Would he naturally be benign in the way he engages with him? So this whole matter about you must now engage ruthlessly, be ruthless to get the job done. You know, a viewer said, why are we saying that now?
Under the Police Act, the first assignment, the first duty of the police is to protect lives and property. Anything short of that is not acceptable in any decent society.
But we've been managing it over the decades.
Excuse me, it has never been this bad that kidnappers will not be reigning as if they are overlords or...
In the words of the president, are holding us to ransom.
Ransom. Kidnappers, I mean, just imagine somebody stay in the bush for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You're making somebody to trek for 40 kilometers.
Yeah, but the part of the citizenry, because the president also observed that they are in places where other people know of them.
Listen, what we read in literature is that security gives way to conspiracy. If there's no internal complicity, if there's no mold within the system, some of these things will not be happening. Some of these things will not be happening.
Well, the president was encouraging people to speak up because, look, remember back in Jonathan's time, President Jonathan, he had said that I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't a Boko Haram member in my cabinet here. At the time, not everybody took that statement as a serious statement. It was just, I personally at the time thought it was just an exasperated statement that the press had now gotten hold of. But one is beginning to wonder nowadays if there are not enemies within.
Just recap how Boko Haram came about.
How?
From Yusuf being arrested by the military, was handed over to the police, and all of a sudden, that was extrajudicial murder.
No, you see, there is always some kind of internal collusion that helps these things to grow.
Yeah.
Because if there's no informant telling them what the plan of government is or how they want to go about it, it's difficult to escape. Well, the truth is that we have a big problem on our hands. It cannot be taken lightly. And I heard this last caller talk about democracy and no democracy. The issue is that if the president says sack somebody now without due process because he failed, they will say, dictator has stepped in. On the other hand, if he says go and deal with people ruthlessly, they say dictator. So whichever way, he's damned if he says it and damned if he doesn't.
The point is this. For all the service chiefs, they hold appointment at the pleasure of the president. So
I agree with you totally, and I'm not saying they don't. But what we're saying,
if he sacks any minister, if he sacks any service chiefs or any permanent secretary, nobody's good because it's at his own displeasure.
Yeah, but I think the point we made in coming to here is that there's a way you carry on in a democratic dispensation, yes, and in a military dispensation, you are not as...
No, I disagree with you.
Oh, okay, let me quickly hear from Mazi Okoroafo. Come back to, so that you can hear that a bit more. Good morning, Mazi Okoroafo.
Good morning, Sayuri. Good morning, Barrister Davo. Good morning, Dr. Fassi.
Good morning.
Honestly speaking, you see, Sayuri, let us face the situation. Our problem today in Nigeria is that we worship money instead of worshiping God. That is to say, why is it that the high rate of criminality is because of this thing? Now, within the country and around the boundary, a young man or a young girl cruising with a car worth of 50 million, a bungalow with wide swimming pool, etc. What is your source of income?
Okay, nobody asks.
Nobody queries
No.
And we know all these things. And we see all these things. Now, you ask yourself, parents, what is their responsibility? Now, let me give you what happened that was either last month or early this month. A boy of just less than 10 years, he left school after the closing of his school around 12:31, the first day. He went home. This young boy went and stole 5 chickens with his friends, and they were up to 3. 5, and at the end of the day, when people started shouting, other people around, 10 or 6 women gathered around and said that their chickens have been missing in the daytime. Now you ask yourself, a boy of less than 10 years indulging in this type of business right now in primary school, that's 4 or 5. Now when that child reaches to the age of 15 or 20, what do you expect? What is the job of the parents? And at the end of the day, the parents came there and saw that they couldn't do it. They will say the story. That one keeps aside. Now you ask our religious leaders, how many people that comes to worship, that's to give thanksgiving, that they query their source of income? We don't. And we are there. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Everybody time we jump up and celebrate. What are you celebrating? Another person's sweat, and somebody has just used another abracadabra way to bring it to the household of God. And we see all this. Now you talk about security agents. What are the job of security agents? How long are they motivated? Sometimes you say security agent, when you look at his way of dressing, you see them drinking all this alcohol at the junction. You start asking yourself, this man, does he collect salary or because of the family responsibility or what? What is it? So we have to look into this. It's not called the fashion order. Go, kill, catch, bring them, crush. No. Are you ready to give them incentives so that they too will be satisfied what they are doing, so that when they take that risk, they take it judicious, they take it out with their blood. It's just like you coming to pick a young boy from the village to come and play outside Nigeria. Now maybe you're going to begin a club. He will play with his blood so that they will do what? Employ him there. That is how they should do to security agents for you to make them move forward. Okay. Kidnappers, you see what happened in Anambra State. Please, we are aware of that now. When they see anybody either stealing or like the time of Ojus or Carlo in ABIA State, what happened? Anybody caught with Bakassi people will carry to your own father's house. That is where they will slaughter your body in your father's house. People around they will know that, yes, this man was caught stealing and this and that in front of your father's house. But does it happen now? We said everything plays with politics. But when Ojus was doing that in ABIA State, the rate of criminality reduced. Because people know the side effects. Now you ask yourself, some of these kidnappers and this, their houses are this, what have government done about it? They say government has conscripted. At the same government official will go back and buy and purchase that building. This is issue now, because bring down the building so that others will learn. It will reduce. But as soon as we have all these things, allow this to go, we cannot, whether government going to bring a throne to conduct this, it will not support. We need proper action and proper work. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day in Lagos. Thank you very much,
Mazi Okora. Indeed, you have also introduced some other
perspectives.
Other perspectives and indeed suggestions. But you've pointed out what has also been pointed out before you spoke, which is that this reigning culture of impunity, one, also pointed out, and that you also highlighted, was is the whole matter about how well remunerated, how well equipped are the very police that you are now saying to, be ruthless. And so the point has been made that what's in it for me? If the police are going to remain the way they are now, which people are judging to be, one, they're inadequate in number, two, even that number is ill-paid, if that number is equipped, how do they now go and follow the marching orders and throw themselves with a passion into their job? I guess that's the point that FASI has also been making.
Life insurance, police reward fund,
all of these,
education.
Are all those intact? Are they in place?
They are supposed to be in place.
Okay.
They've been there since time immemorial. The implementation is the problem. People look away and doing a disservice to their men and doing a disservice to the nation. Because at the end of the day, the nation is bearing the brunt.
And
how many people?
The criminal population knows this and is taking advantage of it, apparently.
It is going to be foolhardy for any foreigner to want to come to this country. He's doing it at his own peril.
But that's what we want. We want foreigners to come in.
There's always this alert by the United States of America, by Britain, by Canada, warning their citizens from coming to Nigeria.
They give advisory.
Unless those that are foolhardy. Yes, the Chinese can come, the Indians can come because of their nature and all the rest, but those people who value human life will find it difficult to come.
Let me quickly bring in Yakub from Dokwemu. Good morning, Mr. Yakub.
Good morning.
Okay.
And good morning to Dr. Fancy and Barista and the studio.
Morning.
Yeah,
Okay.
good morning, sir.
Aki Oshun. Mr. Aki Oshun.
Mr. Aki Oshun. Thank you. Usually, I think I quite agree with Dr. Fancy. Because you see this country, I don't think Mr. President needs to tell our security chiefs to be ruthless before they know what they're supposed to do. Let me take our mind back. Mr. President is not giving marching order to our army chief and other chief security officers in this country. Usually, all of us remember the story of Wadume. And then Wadume, the ABIA boys, they arrested this guy. And then in the process of taking this guy to where they can be able to take him to where they are going. And then the three gallant officers got killed. And then all of us know the story. At the end of the day, Wadume, we are arrested. And then he tells Nigerians, he tells the whole country what goes on, what transpires. Let me put it to you as a journalist. Do you know where the case stands today? No one knows. And then they're now beginning to set up committee upon committee. And then the question is this. The remaining police that's underpaid, how are they going to ready to die for this country? Because their colleagues were killing by other military apparatus. And then other citizens of this country know what transpired. And then they are setting up committees. Up to today, we don't know what happened to those people that killed them. And then you are telling me that they should be ruthless. And now, if the security chief, grand chief officer, they should go on and be ruthless for all these banditry. Do you think they will not be at the back of their mind that, oh, if we go out all out, and then we'll be able to arrest all these guys because there is a saboteur. Are we not going to catch him? If we are killed, who is going to take care of our family?
Yeah.
What is going to happen to the people killing us? So, for me, look at what IG says. He said there was a fake police in this last election. I quite agree with it, Dr. Fasi. In a climate where everything is working perfectly, by now, the president of this country could have released him in office. How could you say that the fake police overwhelming almost 30,000 police in a state? And then you come out to tell us like that. We are not a fool in this country. If we say that all the security officers that stay up for years, they should be go. What tell us that the one that is coming now will now be coming and telling us that there was first army again? So, see, I don't have to understand this country. God always help us.
Okay.
It seems to be frustrated.
Yes, sir.
You see, if we as citizens have a problem understanding the country, don't forget that these problems need to be resolved, and they'll be resolved by human beings. The president is also a human being, just like all of us. He has sought office, he is now there, but he doesn't become a Superman overnight. These issues have to be dealt with holistically and globally.
I think what holistically is
yes,
tremendously important, because this point being made, that it's not, this thing you're talking about, the police here, there's so much affecting them.
So we hop on what the IG said, that there were fake policemen there. Before you, at least he has identified that there were fake policemen.
Yes, and that they knew. They had
one thing is that if
intelligence.
they are dressed in uniform, they post them from different parts of the country. It's difficult to identify on the face of it who is a fake policeman, just looking at his face.
Yeah.
The uniforms are sewn like yours.
Yeah.
So if someone is posted from Sokoto for this election, another person comes from Zamfara, one person comes from Lagos, they are all meeting on that assignment for the first time. Some of the time.
And they were from about six,
So-
7 different units of the police.
So-
Anti-bomb.
That's not the way.
No, well, let me finish my point.
As an ex-serviceman, I should be able to
Let-
tell you how things operate.
No, but you are meeting on that assignment.
Yes, no, don't just meeting. They will have done a dress rehearsal. They will have known how people being posted to a particular place.
But the dress rehearsal
You're
is for
speaking,
that
as you said, because
assignment.
there was a time when you used to be in the force.
Yes.
And so you know how these things
Yes.
work.
The dress rehearsal is still for that assignment.
Yes.
You are all posted to Ibadan or Lagos or Kogi to meet for a purpose. And until you meet at that time, you don't know. But when you know yourselves and you are in different parts of the same state, if some people come dressed like you, you have to identify them and see what they're doing before you say, hey, this is a fake man. And they have identified there were some fake police.
But it shows how disorganized.
But leaving that point, and which the guy said earlier,
yes,
was the point of the community engagement.
Okay.
That the people in the community have to also come out to identify the wrongdoers and the mischief makers.
That's also part of the president's comments.
And you see that in Zamfara State, recently, I think it was this week, it was on the news, that the governor suspended a community head or a ruler, a district head for involvement in banditry or for allowing banditry. And like the Yoruba say, it would not be this hard if the people within, the Wadume story that was said, he was a good man in the community. People knew him as a good person.
Well,
he was funding, and nobody was able to question the source of his wealth because they knew him as a fish seller or something. He was a local businessman that people knew. And all of a sudden, he got a breakthrough. If you go and complain about your neighbor who had a breakthrough, they'll say you are jealous. They want to pull him down.
Emmanuel, in Benue, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chief Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling.
Good morning to your guest.
Sure.
Fasi Yusuf, good morning.
Good morning.
After a long time, you're welcome.
quickly, please. You're a last caller. You're a last caller.
Chief Yori, there is general apathy in the land. And certain things have to happen. Because of the way the security men are being treated, many people are not really serious about their job. What has happened to Badume? What happened to Evan? No news. My appeal goes to the lawyers and the civil society organizations, CSOs. You see, we need to cooperate and make this country work. Once upon a time, there was a lawyer in Nigeria called Ganifa Emi. Ganifa Emi was an upright man. He never defended armed robbers. He was not for falsehood. And he never suffered lack. God fed him. There is no game saying taking money from these corrupt people like robbers, kidnappers, is blood money. And if our lawyers can take a cue from Ganifa Emi and stop defending these people,
okay,
it will help us a great deal.
I want to thank you very much, Emmanuel. Oh, thank you very much. Interesting point. But you know what the lawyers are going to say.
Unfortunately, you don't try with God. If there's no defense, if it's a capital this thing.
Let them be government lawyers, so we know that that is their job. Not that a man who has the money to hire 25 SANs, and then you bring 25 SANs.
The government that arrested him will be the one defending him.
You see, immediately the lawyers will have one or two comments about that particular idea. But I think the point that is being made here, gentlemen, that you have made is that we have to be holistic, more holistic in all of this. And then we have to question, as Mr. Emmanuel has just done, what exactly, and the other callers before him, how well have you treated these police that you are now asking to go out? What have we done by way of equipping them? Can we really realistically expect them to, as it were, throw themselves at the job?
We need fresh perspectives.
So they should sack all the security chiefs?
I said we need fresh perspectives to security management. Our security architecture has broken down.
Okay, so what the first step might be, from what you said,
yes,
sack all these security
all those
chiefs.
that ought to have retired,
okay,
but are still there, should be retired. They should go home.
Okay,
and bring in fresh blood.
Okay, that's a quick one.
New York Police has a budget of $5.1 billion for just the police in New York State.
Yeah, but we are
New York City.
We are Nigeria.
No, they have a budget of $5.1 billion for 1 year. Yes. The whole of Lagos State, the budget is $2 billion for the whole of Lagos State, the biggest economy in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa.
The fifth largest economy.
So when you have $2 billion for the whole of the state, and the police in New York City has $5 billion to deal with crimes,
there will be a difference. Nevertheless, we can't give up.
We
can't give up.
Of course.
So we wait to see how this goes, and you know, as we said on the program, there are still questions. How is this going to work? If it's the very, very same people that are going to have to be executing this particular assignment. But we certainly wish them all the best, because we certainly do have a problem, and indeed it is right that the president is including all of this.
And I think we would recommend that Yori should be part of the new team.
Yori Folani.
Folani.
I'm fine here. Thank you very much.
Because he's been here for long, so he knows what the problems of the country.
Yeah, are you suggesting that that's the way we appoint our people in this place?
Yes.
There you go. Thank you very much, Chief Dr. Fasi Yusuf and Mr. Dakwo Akioshu. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Pleasure.
Okay, so that's our program. Please join us on Monday, because we don't do weekends, and do have a great weekend. I'm Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.